guys, welcome to my channel. And those of you that don't know me, my name is Rasheda. I'm going to share story time with all of you in reference to me losing my home in a fire, and then most recently losing everything due to a pipe bursting in my home. So I do have some champagne so I can just get into it. It's emotional for me. It is one that I had to understand not to hold on to material things and thank Almighty for life. Those of you that may tune in with my shorts, they are affirmations that help me on a daily. I speak positive things every day. I thank Almighty for allowing me to wait because I have to take in consideration someone didn't. So I do thank God for my life and everything that He has provided as far as strength and giving me the courage to push forward and knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And so I'm going to start with my first ordeal, 2006. So let me begin with maybe a couple months before I had my incident. I seen a fire blazing from an apartment across from me. I could hear the commotion. Everybody ran out their apartments because it was so loud. We heard screaming. And so I remember hearing this lady, "My baby, get my baby, get my baby." And I'm like, her baby's in a fire. And unfortunately, her baby did not make it. My kids and I, we were looking, and I was just in shock. And so when it's all said and done, we found out that there was a man smoking near an oxygen tank, and that's what started the fire. I immediately put rental insurance on my apartment because I was notorious for moving around. This was in Michigan. Moving around, didn't have rental insurance. I mean, it wasn't mandatory, but I was very blessed to make it up to the point where I did, not having it, as long as I did. But watching those people lose everything, I just said, you know what? Let me get insurance. And I did, not thinking that I would be that one. So fast forward a couple months later or so, I get a call at work, and I was notified that my apartment caught fire. And I'll back up a bit. I was getting ready to sublease my apartment to a young lady that was in need because I just purchased a home. And so I already went through quite a bit 2006. I had where I was going through I went through my divorce. I I had a car accident that year. It was just seemed like it was just one thing after another where I wasn't catching a break. So you're looking at divorce, car accident, and I had a suit um, that I had started because I was hit by a truck, an 18-wheeler. And it was just like my back, everything that, I had going on that year was just like insane. You think you get over one hump only to have to get over another. So I received a call. I didn't know how bad it was. I broke down. I worked at a call center. I fell straight to the floor because everything I had was in that apartment. And I mean everything from shoes to clothes to collector items. My kids, they had barely opened up all of their Christmas gifts. It was just it was just like this can't be happening. So I get to the apartment, everything's gone, y'all. Everything. Like I couldn't even go in. It's just like it's just gone. So I will say I had State Farm at the time, and they were a wonderful, wonderful company. I was immediately placed at a hotel. I received a voucher. Red Cross, they helped. And so at the time, they gave us like, I think it was like close to maybe $500,000. I don't know. It was a nice amount. I will say that it was a very nice amount. That it was a generous amount that Red Cross gave us. So my kids and I, we went to Myers and we picked up items that we needed. I had nothing, just the clothes on my back. They had My kids only had the clothes on their back. We had nothing. And so we get to the hotel. I called off work for a little while. I had to get my head straight. I was in school taking online classes. I had to put that on pause. And I will say that State Farm, they had released money immediately so I can get a laptop because I was thinking, okay, you still have to find a way to push through, but I just was all over the place. It was just no way. So I put that on pause to get my head together. I continue on with the process of closing on my home, which, that was a blessing that at least I did have somewhere to go. Although the apartment had gave me an option to move into another apartment, but I was just like, no, I'm already in a process of buying a home. I was just subleasing my apartment to a young lady that really needed it. So what ended up happening was in the midst of me preparing my apartment, and the guy had fixed a leaking pipe that I had in a bathroom. He was welding the pipes and it caught flames. Let me tell y'all, me and another person out of my unit were the only ones that had insurance. I will say that it was one hell of a lesson. I didn't know what to do, how to go about things. It was just, I was young. I was in my early 20s. And so State Farm was saying that I needed receipts for everything, or at least try to figure out the amount, which that amount that, I came up with, it was pretty much depreciated. I didn't get my full value. I had furs, I had designer clothes, glasses. I had so many things. And I probably walked away with, I don't know, maybe $12,000, if that. It wasn't a large amount for all of what I lost, but I just took what they gave me because at the time I didn't have a lot of knowledge on business and how things work or what would be a fair value. And so I took the 12,000 and I put it into my new home. It took us a long time to bounce back from that incident. I probably didn't get on my feet really good until maybe a few years later. And I tried really hard. I really did in my new home just to stay afloat and maintain and try to get life back on the right track, I had purchased a foreclosure home, but I had to put a lot of work into it. So a lot of that money went into the home and not into what we had as far as replacement, if that makes sense. I mean, we end up getting clothes and certain little things that we needed, but it was nowhere near the amount of what we had. Fast forward, I probably stayed in the home not even probably a year at the time, and I relocated. I just relocated to another state, and when I sold the home, the market for Michigan, it crashed. It crashed. I was like, wow, it was almost as if no one was selling homes, but I was really, really lucky. I received $3,000 from selling my home. 3,000. And that was all I had when I relocated. I asked my mother to please, help me with the kids. And I transitioned, as at the time I had moved to help my grandmother. And so my cousin, she allowed me to stay with her for a little bit until I figure out what I was going to do as far as a job and finding a place for me and enough room for the children when they came to, live with me. So everything fell into place. It fell into place, and I don't know how I did it, y'all. I just have tears just thinking about it, and just how did you make it? But I just thank God. I thank God. I thank God. I thank him, because to have that much strength and the push the way I did after that year, I tell you, you talking about trials and tribulations. I had faced many trials. 2006 is a year that I will never, ever, ever forget. It made me who I am today. I mean, one thing I have to say about Detroit, Michigan, you meet some characters, man. And you may run into situations, but it'll help you build a tough skin. And I just take the good with the bad and the ugly, because it gave me the knowledge on how to survive in this world. And so, fast forward, October. It was about 4:30 in the morning. My niece knocked on the door, and she woke me up and my husband, and she said, "Is water coming out the ceiling?" And I said, "What?" Oh my God. Oh, yeah, I just broke down crying. It took me back to 2006 all over again. It was so tough. Just watching everything just get flooded out. Like, just I had my rain boots on. And what we ended up finding out was the pipe near the toilet, it burst. I don't know if pressure built up over time or what. It had to be leaking for quite some time. I mean, the whole household was asleep, so we didn't even know all this was going on. Um, And I still have State Farm, y'all. And I will say they do a good job as far as seeing things through. But one thing I'm going to say about water is you have to move quickly. And so it was just such a circus that morning. I mean, calling my supervisor, I was in tears literally. And I don't even know if he knew what to say. It's just like, just take care of your business, you know? I mean, the alarms were going off, the lights, they were going out because the water was filling up the lights, and it was just crazy. I mean, water just getting higher. So the fire department came out because the alarm went off. So it was just a lot. Um, I called State Farm. I called State Farm first, and I was advised call water restoration immediately, which I did. Um, I had to wait until about 8:30 or so, to maybe it was 9 o'clock. I'm not quite sure, somewhere around that time frame, to wait on them to open. They came out right away. State Farm put us in a hotel immediately. And so everything, it happened very fast. The water restoration had everything moved out the home. So everything was moved out the home. Whatever needed to be cleaned, we'll take care of that. Whatever needed to be thrown out was just what it was. It had to be thrown out. So it was just, we had to start all over. It was as if we received a home that was like in construction phase. So I don't know what it was, but after just crying my heart out and just being down, I had to really get it together. It seemed like people was, in companies were trying to take advantage, you know, wanting to charge us crazy amount, or hey, I'm a constructor, we can take care of this for you. And I put my foot down. I said, no, I'm going to make sure my home get put back together, and it's going to be put back together the way I wanted it. And that's what I did. I had um, one company that was able to do like the drywall, the painting. And then I had another company that did the flooring. I had another company that did the trimming. So I had each company that I called, and I didn't just use the first company that I called. I contacted 2 to 3 for each job that I needed done, to figure out not just the best price, but the ones that had the best reviews, the ones that responded, that I would believe would be responsible and not have any worries, being, not have any worries about, is this person going to do the job, or are they going to take money and not do the job? And we had people that we would reach out to, and they'll contact you, and then you don't hear from them, and then you hear from them maybe a week later. And I wasn't using anyone like that, because if it's taking you that long to get back to me before you even get any funds, I can only imagine what you would do to me if you had my funds. So I didn't use those type of companies, because I just didn't want to have anything more to deal with. Needless to say, it took 2 months to get our home back together. We just have to now get a shower door um, in the bathroom where the pipe burst. But I am totally blessed. I came out of pocket very slight. because we didn't calculate everything the way it should have been calculated. But I won't blame State Farm for that. It was just something that my husband and I we were a bit off on, but it's fine because they had even um, gave us a bit more after they gave us a payout so we can cover everything in its entirety. And I tell you, it's just been a blessing. I have learned that it's not the end of the world. I have learned that there's always a brighter side. This situation, even though with me being older and more understanding, I seen something that was negative but turned it into something positive. Even though it happened and I didn't want to go through it, I have more than what I need and I have what I want. So that's the flip side of this ordeal and everything that I have endured. I don't wish it on anyone to have to go through. Whether it's a fire or a flood, they're both emotional situations to deal with. I won't say what is worse than the other because no one wants to go through any any type of disaster. No disaster. As water and fire, I mean, they're both damaging, and there's no coming back for that. There's no coming back from that. And so I am very blessed, thankful. I show gratitude, and I tell you, even after the first disaster that I had, it humbled me. It humbled me because just imagine growing up in a city like Detroit, Michigan, and you actually hear where you're talking about, Cartiers, Gators, and things of that nature, furs. I was that girl that loved having my designers and fur coat and just looking nice and just thinking, hey, I'm living it up. But I tell you, when I lost that, it made me look at life completely different. One, you can have that stuff today and it can be gone tomorrow. But when they say you come in this world with nothing and you'll leave out of this world with nothing, that's enough to think about. So I think when I retire, and I keep saying this, I just want to have a good, healthy, simple life. Maybe on an island somewhere and just be at peace. It's not easy being a homeowner, it's not easy even having where you have a space of your own because you have to maintain both. Whether you rent or you own, you have to maintain your space. And you don't know what may happen, near or future. And so, my only advice is to be prepared for the unknown. Make sure you have insurance, whether you're renting or you own. Make sure you do your research on the insurance company because I have heard nightmares about certain insurance companies where you may not get any help. So you definitely want to do your research. I'm not selling State Farm or anything like that. I'm just sharing my story because I have heard people have negative view on State Farm just as well as some have positive. My experience been positive. I haven't had any negative experiences with State Farm, but that's just me. I can't speak for others, but I definitely will say they are reputable and they have not failed me in any shape or form. I'm very knowledgeable. Just like this time around, we knew that, what they gave us wasn't going to cover everything, but even though it covered majority, we were able to go back so we can get things covered. You know, you have to know what is what and what people will do for you, because if you just accept what they give you, then that's all it's going to be. But you have to advocate for yourself and understand what it is that you can do to get the necessary help. I wasn't trying to come out of pocket, you know, with a whole lot. And I knew that if the insurance cover X amount, then it has to be where they would cover a little bit more, because everything has went up. It's not the same what it used to be. Material has went up. People are charging more for labor. I'm sure the insurance company know that. So they didn't have a problem making sure that, we sent in our receipts and spoke to our adjuster, who was able to help us in return. And like I said, it wasn't that much that I came out of pocket, maybe about $1,000 I came out of pocket, compared to others who may have had to pay thousands. So that's a blessing to get my home completed in a timely manner, and to be able to cover majority of the cost through insurance made me not have as much pressure to deal with, or even going into a emotional state of depression, or trying to figure out financially how am I going to get things done. The insurance basically was my relief. If I did not have the insurance, I don't know how it would have covered anything. So it's important that you have insurance. But needless to say, I'm going to keep on praying and hope that, moving forward, that we continue to stay covered and blessed. And yeah, that's the ordeal that I have dealt with in my life as far as home disasters. And you never know what you may have to deal with, even moving forward. We just make sure you're prepared. You always want to have something saved, because if I didn't have some of the things saved in, my bank, I wouldn't have had even got my job started as quick as I did, because you have to keep in mind it takes at least 30 days before insurance company pay you a dime. So you would want to have a little something to get things started. Like I had a hole in my ceiling and it was cold. Air was coming through. It was very, very cold, because at a certain point, I didn't want to stay in a hotel any longer. It was just such a inconvenience. I just wanted to get things started and hope that the insurance would do things in good faith, and just do right by us, which they did. So I got the ball rolling by getting my ceiling done, and just being able to be back in my home and just getting things fixed. So that is my story time. I know probably was a bit long winded, but yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys what we have been through, what I have been through. And I pray that all of you not have to go through what I went through. And if some of you have, my heart goes out to you. I understand wholeheartedly the pain and the time and the emotion of what you had to deal with. So until next time, much love, peace, and light. Everybody take care.
now that I don't